That Note with Parker Whirling.
This is Radio Hour.
Radio
On the
Hour
Note.
with
The Parker Whirling Show.
St. Bruce 102.9. The Bull. All right. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
St. Bruce, On That Note podcast. Thank you for being here, brother. You look like you've seen a ghost.
I just realized this is, now we're live.
We're live. We're in it.
He's like, you just changed characters.
Just like that, dude. That's how it is, man. I'm like two different people.
Yeah.
As soon as I hit that record button, we're in a different universe.
Yeah, it was startling.
I like to keep the guests on their toes. No, I'm excited to have you on. I was just telling you right before we started that it's funny having you sit in this chair talking about your music and everything when usually you're just over here and we're practicing for an upcoming gig or just hanging out watching Jaws.
Yeah. No, it's like you were kind enough to lend me your bassist abilities, and I think we're playing a show a little later tonight. So
A little later tonight, that's right, at Eddie's Attic. But there's also another show you're playing at Eddie's Attic. The one tonight is more of like a writer's like shootout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a showcase.
But you have another one that is like a show coming up.
Yeah, September 17th. I'm opening up for Papa Jack Couch.
Nice.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna work up to that one. We don't have enough material together.
That's
to do
okay.
Papa Jack yet, but we have time.
Yeah, we got a good 2 months.
Yeah,
I think we'll be just fine by then. But yeah, I figure let's get the plug out of the way. September 17th, come see St. Bruce, and I will be accompanying him as well. So much to talk about. We have a lot of music as well as acting to chat about as well. If you want to get into it.
Yeah, are you allowed to?
Oh yeah, dude. You
cross over lines.
Fuck what the people think. They need to learn about some acting stuff. You know, I don't get to talk about acting with anyone else, and I can really relate to that with you. So we'll get into that. But I always like to start with the album you picked in my collection.
Oh, okay.
So let's get into the album you picked.
Get past this real quick.
Yeah. What do we got here?
I picked. I picked Phoenix.
Classic.
Wolfgang Amadeus. Yeah.
I was kind of surprised that you picked this one. You were talking about Tom Waits, which I don't have, but you were asking if I had it, and you also asked about, or saying maybe some Radiohead.
Yeah, well, because we have bonded on Radiohead,
right?
And part of the reason that we play together, I feel like, is because we like immediately had like, oh yeah, like, and we were just playing Radiohead together.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The songs that we knew, I was like, okay, yeah, this is the kind of person you should be playing with, you know. But when I saw this one, I immediately was like, oh yeah, this one has like significant meaning for me, because I think it was like 2009 when 1901 was like really popping off, and I remember it was like that was the summer that I spent in New York with and I was like doing a kind of a film program there, and it was like a kind of my coming of age. I was 17 and I was like got to be alone in the city and like commuted in by myself.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I definitely want to work in the arts. And I came back and I still had a year left of high school, and I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Can I
Dude, yeah, that's a tough awakening going back to high school after that.
Yeah, after that, and I was just like, okay. And so this album was really like kind of indicative of that time.
That's awesome. Yeah. It is a very freeing, like liberating album. I remember hearing 1901 on the radio, on pop radio, and really enjoying it, but not thinking about it until years later, thinking like everything that was on pop radio at the time and now, you think about 1901 being a huge hit. It's kind of crazy. It's a very weird song.
And it was. And I don't know if you know this, they did a really cool thing where they released all the stems for like some of the stuff so that you could take it and they released it for free so that you could just have it and you could, you know, do your own stuff with their stems. I just thought it was really cool. It's like they're kind of like a musician's musician in a way, where they're like, take my stuff and change it around and do something cool with it. And so
it's kind of interesting. More people don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, It's kind of fun.
I'd never heard of that being done by anybody else. It's like, yeah, take our samples and like play with them.
Right. Because at some point, if you're successful enough, like it's not going to be a threat to you that somebody's kind of like taking your sounds a little bit. And I think at the end of the day, if people are able, it's the same thing as like remixing. You're just taking some stuff and.
Well, did you watch any of the Olympics this past? Was that a year ago now? Oh my God, this is the last summer.
Yeah,
Olympics.
I guess so.
They showed up in France because they're French, and they showed up and they played a set in the middle of the Olympics, like in the opening ceremony, and it was awesome. Honestly, it was like they played such cool stuff. I was like, I kept looking for how I could find like a recording of it because the stuff they played was like really sick at the Olympics.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had played it. That makes sense. I mean,
I'll show you a video. We'll find a video.
Please
after,
do. Yeah,
after.
I'm a big Phoenix fan. I loved. I actually really like their newer album they put out like 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
I don't know that I've listened.
It's called
to it before.
Alpha Zulu.
Oh yeah, I've heard the Alpha Zulu, the single.
Here's the thing, dude. I didn't love the song Alpha
really?
Zulu. It was the first song on the album. I remember listening to it and being like, not for me. So I didn't keep going. But then I went back to it and listened to the rest. That song Tonight, featuring Ezra Koenig, I think is how you say it, from Vampire Weekend, was my most streamed song like 2 years ago. I would listen to it like 3 times a day, at least every day.
And that's another cool thing. I don't know how I listened to Alpha Zulu because I didn't listen to the whole album. I don't know why I did that, but we've had that a couple of times where I think it happened with Big Thief too, where like you introduced me to some Big Thief, but the songs that I hadn't heard of them,
right?
But I had heard of them, like they'd come across them, but I had not I had not found the ones. But the ones that you showed me ended up being like some of my favorites. So now I feel like I'm gonna.
Yeah,
really like
dude.
this,
I remember having the bonfire and Simulation Swarm came on, and you were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "I can't believe you don't know this song." Yeah, I was like, "This is so up your alley."
Yeah.
And then you randomly also saw Adrian Lanker.
Yeah.
At the Eastern.
Well, yeah, I worked there, so
right. I know, yeah, not that random, but like she just happened to be at that at your venue that you were working at.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, and she's awesome, and so is Phoenix. But cool, let's get into your music. I was listening last night in preparation. I've also been playing with you for weeks in preparation.
Yeah, you have a little more intimate knowledge.
Yeah, it is kind of a funny like way to do an interview, like literally knowing all the bass parts to someone's songs. But yeah, Leave Me As I Am, which came out last year, December 1st, 2024. It's been some time since you put it out, you know. I always like to ask my guests if the album or project they've released most recently is a little bit in the rear view mirror, where they're at now with it, what are their thoughts on it, because I think people's thoughts and feelings can kind of change over time when it comes to a song or a project. So when you look back on that EP, like, what do you think of most?
Yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, when I first moved to Atlanta, and I was like hell-bent on doing some recording because I finally lived alone for the first time, and I was like, okay, I can have this space be my studio space, and I can control everything about it. And that was the first song I recorded, and that one, of all the ones that are on there, just was kind of like that. It worked the best. It was just, and everything else that I've done in the same timeline as those, they all, you know, they're all just full of these mistakes that I can hear because I really did it all myself, except for I had some help mixing and mastering at the end, but all of the arrangement and all the other parts, except for I had on that same EP Disaster, I had the virtuoso Matthew Tom come and play some violin for me, which is really the reason I put that one in there at all, because that one is so full of mistakes that I kind of hesitated to put it out there, but I wanted to get past it, and I want to focus on the next iteration of my music. Where I'm hopefully going for a little more of a live sound, and speaking of why I'm bringing on, people like yourselves onto it. But yeah, I mean, just when I think about that one, especially Leave Me As I Am, I just think about that one was just kind of like a nice lightning in a bottle for me cobbling things together where I really don't, I'm learning as I'm going with that kind of thing.
Right. It feels like we're never done learning, especially when you're doing like home recording.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of time, thankfully, for experimentation and trying new things, but unfortunately there's a lot of time for experimentation and trying a lot of new things.
Yeah.
And you can get lost in the sauce a bit.
There are some things that you really like that are kind of a really low-hanging fruit though with learning. It's like, okay, like playing to like a click track so that you don't keep going in and out of different BPM is probably one of the things you should learn early on. I mean, that is something that I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I have stuff on SoundCloud that I've done for years that's even more like I won't even put it on Spotify because I'm not trying. It's like one of those things where the seams are very glaring, and especially where there are times when things are out of sync or out of tune, and I'm just like, I have to just kind of move past that, that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So yeah, little obvious things like that were still things that I had to kind of figure out when I was doing it.
Yeah, the click track it's so funny how hard that is in general. Like I'll teach, guitar and drums to kids, and sometimes I need to adjust my expectations because they'll be like a hair early or a hair late, and I'm like, nah, you didn't do it. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're off, like you're getting off. And they're not getting off. I should rephrase that.
Yeah,
they're off tempo. But it's kind of crazy how I remember it being really hard to play guitar to the metronome when I was first starting, just like recording in my own home. And you realize how important it is just to be so locked in because, everything else is going to sound horrible if you're kind of coming in and out. Yeah. And after playing live, it is cool when you do hear about bands where they're like, oh, we actually recorded this not to a click. And you can almost feel the band moving with the tempo. And it's like really kind of flowy, but it's like, you got to understand the rules to break them.
Yes. And having that, like it being almost like a decision in the band they're moving with you. What I would come against is because I'm doing it all myself, I would record it and then singing it fine. You can find the little margins and, sing a little outside the margins. But then when I would try to, put in, other instruments and stuff like that, or especially put in like drums and stuff. Right. Then it's just like, oh yeah, no, that's not working at all. It's not in time. And what really helped is like the biggest thing that I did for these, few that I have on Spotify was that I did the drums first and then I would play over the drums. And that was like, it seems obvious. It should have been more obvious that I should have done that to begin with, but that was why these are better or closer. Right. There's still a little bit of here and there, but that's why these worked a lot better.
Yeah. So what did you learn from the process of making this EP, Leave Me As I Am, as going into future releases, you think?
Start with the drums.
That's a good one.
Play as a live band. I mean, I think that's really what I want to try next. I mean, I upgraded all of my recording stuff too. I mean, I literally recorded these on GarageBand with a USB mic.
Nice.
And I
wouldn't have known. I mean, they do sound good.
Thank you. I was lucky. I am lucky. I have my time in LA, I have a mixing and mastering partner, Ryan Binyo at Binyo Sound. Shout out. Who is just like, he can take me where I'm at and just go to that next thing. I could never get there by myself. So that really helps a lot.
Yeah.
To have somebody in the chair who knows what they're doing at some level,
Yeah. Those my last 5 years of making music has just been like, oh, let me use someone else who actually knows what they're doing, and then I'll just kind of direct them into where to go.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard, man, producing your own music, mixing and doing all that.
Yeah.
It's tough, man, and it's so much easier for me now to just kind of focus on the writing aspect and like thinking about how I would like for it to sound, and then getting somebody who can kind of translate that.
Yeah, and you're more of a gear guy than I am. I'm really not a gearhead at all. I have like very stripped down with my. I mean, I play acoustic, and I never really played with pedals, and all this stuff is now that I'm doing this more, and I'm getting more into performing and recording than I ever have before. I've started to feel like I want to bring in some, maybe try electric and bring in some pedals and learn a little bit more about this. So, I've already kind of started integrating more of the technical side into it, which is like so opposite of where my headspace is at when I'm thinking about music. And yeah, it's always just writing and playing,
Right. When you are writing, I heard from Mr. James Lavender. He told me that you like to write songs that are impossible for you to play on guitar. Is that true?
This is true. It's how I've gotten to like a level where I can play complicated things. Because when I first started, I would write more intricately than I could play. I mean, and I couldn't play them for you. So I play songs.
What does that look like? Like, I can't even imagine being able to really come up with something that is so hard for me to play.
Well, that's the thing is that it looks like nothing because nobody ever sees it for so long.
I just can't, like, where do you even start? Like, how do you even know it's written? It almost seems like you're thinking in theoretical math.
No, it's not like
imaginary numbers.
No, it's not like that. What it is that I would play it, but I would just play it unclean. It would just be dirty, and I would miss the notes, and I would just do that for so many reps and it would take me years. I could get to the technical fluency on the fret that I can actually hit those notes.
I got you.
And that is a really kind of a recent thing. It's really been in the past couple of years because really, music for me, I spent 10 years in Los Angeles. I moved to Atlanta in beginning of 2023. And music for me was always, because I was in Los Angeles, I was pursuing an acting career and I was so focused on that. I played out a little bit, but music was never like a pursuit, like a legitimate pursuit. And it wasn't until I moved here and the industry went into flux, and we were basically on the sidelines striking for years that I put more effort and my creative energy into playing these songs and learning them. So in the past 2 years, I've gotten to the point where I can feel comfortable playing these songs and hitting the solos that I would write and stuff like that. Before that, I wouldn't even ever play a song out live that had a solo section.
Whoa.
Because I wouldn't trust myself to hit that cleanly.
Yeah.
Because I've never thought of myself as like a guitarist.
That's so crazy, dude. As long as I've known you, I'm like, this guy can fucking shred. This is insane.
That is either a recent thing or, the past couple years. And kind of news to me as well. 'Cause, my whole thing is I lived with a guy for 9 years. And when I first met him, I think I was 21 years old and I was still songwriting, but all my stuff was very much, rudimentary guitar, just, and he was so good. And I lived with him for a long time and I learned his stuff. And I just think that it's just like for the osmosis of living with somebody who is that good for that long, I just kind of absorbed his kind of approach a little bit and kind of merged it with mine. And so, I still think, I still think he could smoke me in guitar. He doesn't really do music that much anymore, but yeah.
The osmosis thing is so real. I lived with a guy who, it's funny because looking back on it, he wasn't like this guy who was light years ahead of me, but it felt like it. He was light years ahead of me in terms of technical proficiency in playing music. But what was insane was I had never seen anybody or heard anybody who had done like home recordings on like Logic or GarageBand. Mm-hmm. And he showed me some stuff, and I was like blown away at what you could do with essentially free software.
Yep.
Or you just spend $200 and you have Logic forever. And I couldn't believe what you could do with that, and that sort of watching him create this and him showing me stuff over the course of a couple of years was like kind of just breaking down the barriers of what I thought you could do with just a computer and a audio interface.
Honestly, same. And yeah, I didn't even think, I mean, shout out to Mikey Cooper for the same things. Cause like, yeah, not only did I learn guitar through him just from being with him, but I would never have done any home recordings if it wasn't for him. Cause that's what we did. I mean, he would do everything. At that time, I would just like let him do all the technical stuff. And it wasn't until I moved away that I was like, well, I still want to keep doing this. And I've seen how he does it a little bit, and I can kind of start at least, you know. So we have some stuff together. We used to go by the Lemon Thieves. That was
the Lemon Thieves.
Yeah, we have a couple songs that we wrote and recorded together on my SoundCloud.
That's awesome. I'll have to check it out. I know the Lemon Heads. You ever listen to them?
Yeah, I know the Lemon Heads.
Evan Dando.
Yeah, we called ourselves the Lemon Thieves because the first place we lived was like roach-infested apartment.
Oh, God.
And I had read somewhere online that roaches hate lemons. So there's like lemon trees all over the valley in California, and we just like stole some lemons off of the tree. And we like squeezed it all over the floor, and the roaches loved it.
Oh, no, dude. That sucks.
Yeah, it was awful.
Damn.
So,
okay, I was literally about to go buy some lemons and squeeze them on our floors because we get roaches too.
They love it.
Dude, okay, well, good to know. Thanks for including that part of the story. This would have been a bad way
to... It's a PSA.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't squeeze lemon on your floors.
Yeah.
So let's also talk about Shangri-La, a favorite of mine. But I listened to the recording. I mean, I've heard it before, but I listened to it again, and especially after we've played it so much. And it's such a different vibe in recording compared to the others. So what was the jump from Shangri-La to this new EP?
Yeah, I did Shangri-La with a really talented musician and friend of mine who he mostly does like trap beats for like SoundCloud rappers. Like
gotcha. Oh, whoa.
And he's a good friend of mine. And when I first moved here, we just had this idea that we wanted to do something together, and I brought him that. And so he did all the drums and all the production on that one. I mean, I think we scrapped. I had like a more complete version when I brought it to him. And then we had just decided that we'll scrap everything that I did except for like the vocals and guitar. And then he would just put his stamp on it.
Nice.
And so that's really like all that cool, like all the beats and stuff are all him. And yeah, it's cool. It's definitely a different vibe. And so when I put out my EP, Leave Me As I Am, that's just all me. That's more of my like grassroots.
Right.
Like, I'm doing all the music and all the instrumentation, mostly with MIDI.
Yeah. So is that your first time delving into that production world?
Yeah. For Shangri-La?
For after that, for the EP?
For the EP, no. The EP is like my second attempt at an EP. And like I said, the first EP that I did, that I only released on SoundCloud, is the one that was like, I feel like the quality wasn't quite there as far as,
gotcha.
You know, I mean, it's experimental. It's cool. I mean, there's some stuff I really like about it. Mm-hmm. And then there's other stuff that I just was like, yeah, this was a experimentation track that I could make all my mistakes on. I did it over COVID.
Totally.
Like, you know, there's I think there's even a part in there where like you can hear a fridge compressor kick on in one of the songs. So it's like there's some things that I, you know, was just learning on the fly.
Yeah. Hey man, that's how you do it. I look
Yeah.
back on this EP that I made under a different name, like in 2018. And I remember at the time, of course, being so stoked on it and being like, I can't believe I made this all by myself. This is awesome. And I look back on it and I'm like, oh my God, the what was I doing with the auto tune? Why was I correcting every note? I was just so uncomfortable with the idea of my own voice being like, you know, a little in and out of tune. Like, and I guess I wasn't as used to singing so much at the time that I just was so self-conscious. And also putting every effect on everything. Like everything had reverb, everything had compression, and like just really overdoing it. But there's something very charming about going back and listening to those previous
humbling.
projects.
It's humbling, and
we should all be required to do that, I think.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah, I'll never forget.
Just to revisit.
I played it. I was driving across country, and I played the SoundCloud ones for my mom. And we're driving across country, and after I look over, and my mom's fast asleep. Like, I literally put her to sleep. I was like,
God.
wow. And I still make fun of her for that today. I mean, she's like, my music, you know, she's like EDM person. So it's like,
Your mom
Yeah.
is an EDM person?
oh, big time. Yeah,
Whoa.
she goes to like Electric Daisy Festival. And like,
What?
yeah, and she's like in her late 50s and
Whoa.
needs no drugs and no alcohol. Well, she probably drinks a little bit, but she can dance all night. She's like,
Dude. Respect.
yeah,
That is
That is
awesome.
not me. My, you know, sad boy songs is gonna put
Yeah.
her right.
Has she
right
always
to
been
sleep.
like that?
Yeah, always.
Did any of that rub off on you, the EDM stuff?
I mean, I mean, I don't know. No, it didn't. I was trying to say, like, yeah, there's things about
Right, maybe
her that- other things,
subconsciously.
but not. I don't go to. Yeah, I'm not really going like big on going to like festivals and doing that kind of thing. I like intimate, small rooms, like we're playing in tonight.
Right.
Like I like that. I like listening rooms.
Yeah. That just threw me for a loop right
Yeah,
there.
funny.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Damn, she fell asleep. That's crazy. But that's, hey, yeah, sometimes that kind of feedback is what you need, and then, you know,
That
you
was the
take
most
that.
honest thing she could do.
Right,
Like she would have told me
right.
a bunch of lies about how much she loved it if she had stayed awake.
Yeah.
But she fell asleep, and that's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
About that EP,
Dude.
And that's why. I mean, well, not the only reason, but like, yeah, that's why it stays on my. It's still public, but it stays on my.
The SoundCloud.
Practice,
Right.
SoundCloud,
Yeah.
just-
If people really want to delve into it,
Yeah.
you know, they can. Is there any unexplored musical territory that you'd like to delve into in maybe the next project or just eventually?
Yeah, I mean, I have been told, and I agree about, you know, being more like maybe doing some more electric stuff, and yeah, doing more with the live band sound. All that stuff is on the top of my mind for the next thing, which hopefully will be in later this year, possibly. I have plenty of material. I mean, like I said, these are some of these songs that we were playing. I wrote 10 years ago and just couldn't play them.
That's wild. Yeah.
So I have a backlog.
You're playing the long game. You know, you're really investing.
Yeah. The long game. Yeah. I if I knew I was playing a game at all, I probably would have.
Yeah, maybe changed up the plan a little bit. But no, that's a good move, dude. It's funny going from, I did the same thing, going from doing the home recording stuff and just taking it a track by a time or track at a time, and then going into more of a live recording with the band situation. And there's something very freeing about it when you're like, oh, we're all locked in, and you listen back and it can actually sound like an organism, like a breathing, moving organism, which your music already has that aspect to it. It moves and kind of flows around. Like just when we play, it feels more like it's breathing compared to I think some of my music can feel a little more like on the grid, like a little bit, or like even Phoenix, Phoenix, their kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it breathes, it's very in your face. And I don't mean, maybe I just have like a weird way of thinking about something that breathes.
Yeah, I think I know what you're trying to say.
There's a lot of space in your songs. There's a lot of room for, I don't know, I can picture the room that you're playing in, if that makes sense.
Well, let's find it.
Yeah, and it's a stadium, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, it's been really cool to have. I've been in bands before, and first of all, I like going to band practice. I've been a drummer in some bands, and I enjoy doing the collaborative part of music. Music for me has not been collaborative for most of my life. Somebody told me one time that I play guitar and I play like I've spent a lot of time alone. That's kind of a backhanded compliment. Yes, I have been in my room writing,
Right,
and playing alone a lot, and so this is new for me to have somebody and to have people playing, like getting on my level with my music, and it's super exciting, and I'm gonna lean more into it. So happy to have you on board. Dude, I'm happy to be here.
Happy to be here, man. Yeah, your songs are great. When you asked me if I was down to play, it was like, of course, dude. I've always loved seeing you play, and like you got a great voice. Your guitar skills are insane to me. So it's fun to be able to play bass for that, because that's like probably the only thing I could do in your band. Drums, I feel like drums would be pretty hard for your stuff. You're just so like
changes up.
Yeah, exactly. And bass is, it's a good challenge for me though.
It's fun. No, it's awesome. It's really funny because I feel like every time we do a new song, I'm like, this one's easy. We got this one.
Yeah,
I'm
literally.
I'm like, well, then there's that part where I change here, and the bridge I changed here.
Right.
So I just forget.
But we figure it out. We still figure it out.
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, I want to get into a little bit of acting stuff, because I don't get to talk about this with anybody. And I'm sure I've told you that you're like my one guy that I can relate to with acting that is in the music world as well. Whereas, some people, they'll be like, hey, dude, I heard Stranger Things is holding auditions. Have you ever thought about auditioning for that? And I'm like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah. I should think about that.
I never thought of that before.
Right.
You know what? I should be on a super popular television show. Thank you for reminding me.
I'm just going to go to set. I'm going to go find them and go be like, hey, where can you put me?
Yeah.
So you get it, so it's fun to like be able to just chat with you about what's going on, and what the auditions are like and everything.
Yeah. Have you you've been doing acting and music with the same kind of focus for, like, they were kind of parallel for you, right?
Actually, acting was way before music.
Okay.
I started doing like theater as a kid when I was like 8. And then when I was 13, 12, when I was 12, I started taking an online or an acting conservatory, on camera acting conservatory thing here in Atlanta. The Company Acting Studio is what it was called. And then at 13, I signed with an agency here, like a smaller boutique agency. And it was...
You're a child actor.
Yeah, dude, I'm a child actor. Isn't that weird?
And you're surprisingly not fucked up.
Well, I haven't been that successful.
Right.
Yeah, the success
for the best,
the success
best.
ratio wasn't so high that I got really fucked up from it. But hey, there's still time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was 13 and then started doing some really shitty indie movies and indie pilots. Yeah, that either didn't pay anything or paid almost nothing. And then step by step, you just starting to like book other things. But I was looking up your resume last night, going through the IMDb creds. I got to just name a few so that people know. You were in The Staircase, which was a pretty popular show.
Yeah, it kind of came. I mean, yeah, it was a popular story, and they've
Yeah.
done so many iterations of it that it's kind of been, yeah, it's just been in the kind of the public zeitgeist for a long time. So.
Right. I mean, that was HBO, right?
Yeah, HBO.
That's awesome. Max, HBO. I don't know which one it is now.
It's not Max.
They went
got rid of
back, right?
Max. Yeah,
Didn't they
HBO
go, that's
Max
so
now.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Staircase, Grosse Pointe Garden Society.
That got canceled.
It got canceled. That sucks. All because you were on it. No, I'm kidding.
There's been a couple things that have been canceled, and I'm always just like, damn, man,
Right.
this is my fault.
You're like, wow, it got canceled right after I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. Grosse Pointe. That was.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would stick around just so Atlanta actors could, keep working. Gotham Knights, The Resident, The Devil, all the time.
Gotham Knights also canceled.
That was on CW.
That was CW. The whole CW got canceled, so I can't take that.
Right. Wait,
wasn't
it
my
did?
fault.
All of the CW?
Yeah,
is
they canceled
done?
all the CW. Done.
What?
Yeah, they had a huge sale that was like,
Going out of business sale?
yeah, well, they sold all the props from all the shows. It was this really cool. I went out there and I bought the so if you ever watch any of my Instagram stuff, a lot of times in the background I have a keyboard that's a neon keyboard. And that was hanging in the bar in the scene that I did in Gotham Knights. And I went to their big sale and I bought that. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. I want to have that. And
that is
so
cool.
I have that in my apartment. And then I bought a lamp from it looks like a Gotham looking lamp. I did buy that. So,
Whoa, some memorabilia.
some memorabilia, yeah. But yeah, that one was also short lived.
Dude, yeah. I mean, CW, definitely more for the work than it was for the
Yeah. I didn't
really
watch
great
the show.
content.
So,
Yeah,
maybe my biggest fault was that I didn't watch these shows, some of these
Right.
shows, and neither did anyone else, and that's what happened.
I mean, I'm the same way. It's hard to. I did a couple of auditions for Grosse Pointe, and I was like, I should watch the show. I watched one episode and was like, yeah, this is
it's not
maybe
for
not
me.
really for me.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that some of these shows would stick around for the Atlanta market.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to kind of ask about your journey through acting. I was curious about, how do you view acting in your mind in relation to music? Like, are they complementary to each other? Are they completely separate? I know you mentioned earlier that music was more of a hobby back in the day that has become a little bit more prevalent. So maybe you can just kind of take me through your relationship with both things and how they've evolved.
Yeah, when I'm a journeyman at this point. I mean, I say that. I'm about 10 years into my career as an actor, and if I can do it for 25 years and still love it, I'll be really happy, because it's hard to do long term if you're not doing it all the time, or you have to have things in between and you still have to supplement, and it's just like, it's really hard, and musicians know this is the same thing. It's the ups and downs. And so when I moved here, 10 years in, I was like telling everybody, when I was meeting other musicians, I'm like, who are doing it full time and trying to make a career out of it, I'm always just like, oh man, my hat's off to you. I was like, no, I'm not doing that at all. Like, I've done this in another way.
Totally.
And I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is to just get on a show that got canceled for a couple episodes. Has taken me years and years of trial and error. And so I was just like, I don't know that I could do that. I don't know if I could start from scratch and try to do another creative, endeavor like that in a professional way. But honestly, just being around you guys who are doing it, I don't know. I just kind of got inspired by the community around here. And I just, and they've been positive and embraced me and wanted to play with me and wanted to, listen to my stuff. And I was just like, let's do it. And I never forget. I was at some showcase open mic kind of thing, and I was doing that same thing where I was like talking myself down. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this as a hobby. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where it's hard to commit to in your own mind too. It's like when I moved to LA as an actor, I told everybody, I didn't tell anybody I was going to be an actor. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to work in film and do this. And it wasn't until I moved there that I was like, I have to be honest with myself,
Right.
because the stigma's there, and it's just it's hard to wrap your head around something that seems so. It seems so, it can seem like it's just kind of like a foolish thing, and anyways, I'm going off
Being an
on
actor in LA.
in general, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It can seem indulgent,
Yes.
is the word I was looking for. Yeah, and
You feel like a stereotype,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah, and I never wanted to work in like as a waiter because I didn't want to be an LA stereotype.
Right.
Into the story. Long story short, I've worked as a waiter. I worked at every job you can possibly imagine to supplement in that time. But oh no, anyways, I was at an open mic here, and I was telling some woman that I'm not doing this. I'm like talking it down, and then after that, some guy goes up and was pretty good. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what a professional sounds like. So I said, and she offered him a gig. And I had been talking to her, and I had talked myself down so much that she would never have thought to offer me a gig. And I just remember being like, wow, I kind of shot myself in the foot there. So I stopped saying that. I stopped saying that I'm just doing this as a hobby. And so that was kind of a switch in my mind where it's like, why would you say that? And so when I hear other artists do that, I say, like, even if you're not quite there yet, don't tell yourself and don't tell people that you're doing this just as a hobby. It's a legitimate pursuit, and how much time you put into it is your own business, but it is a legitimate pursuit if you're out there doing it. So
That's great advice.
yeah,
I'm clipping that. No, that's so true. It starts with you.
yeah,
You have to be able to. I don't want to say, you got to be like your number one. You got to be your, believe in yourself and all that. I mean, that I do think that, but it doesn't have to be that corny. It can just be like, just don't shoot yourself in the foot.
yeah.
Like, just there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm a musician, I'm an actor.
I want this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want this. I mean, it's crazy how hard that is for a lot of people in their lives to admit to themselves what they want, what they like, because for whatever reason, maybe they have hang-ups about what they think people will think about them, what their parents will think about them, what their friends will think about them. And it's hard to be honest with yourself, maybe more than anyone,
yeah. It really is.
especially about something that is so, both two things, acting and music being what is the word? Like a shaky foundation. There's not
Yeah.
what is the word? Oh my God. It's not very stable,
Yes.
right? There's no clear
There's no
path.
clear path.
You can be a series regular on a huge TV show
And then not work for 5 years.
and then not work for 5 years. Yeah.
I have a friend
Yeah.
that did that. Yeah.
And it's pretty common.
Yeah.
There's been so many times that I've had people kind of not in my circle, but who I just maybe know of, who are like really crushing it with acting. And I'm really like kind of envious of what they have. And then a few years later, it's like they're not really doing it anymore. Or like you just realize that how transparent these things can be. They can really go away very quickly. And now it's like, I don't really worry about what's happening with other people because, and I try not to put that much pressure on me too. Like if I book a cool thing, it's like, this is just going to be what it is. And there's nothing to predict. And I'm just going to do it and have fun. And once I started taking that mentality into auditions, it's like, that's the fun thing, It's like, this is the actual real chance to act. There's no guarantee I'll ever get on set again, truly.
Yeah.
You never know. So might as well just have fun in the audition.
Yeah, you said something very quotable that I think I've said a couple times to people, which I really liked. But it was something about how you were like, yeah, you're always kind of, there's a way to think about this, that you're always kind of waiting for your next gig. But you were saying that, like, but in a weird way, I mean, I am living the dream that I had now.
Mm-hmm.
You said that, and I was like, that's true. It's not how you originally imagined it, maybe, but like you're still in the lifestyle, you're still doing it, and there's still those moments where it's like, yeah, I'm like making this happen. I am living. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah,
Put words in your mouth?
I mean, I feel like I have to remind myself of that all the time because of the ideas that we had when we were younger, and thinking like, oh man, I legitimately remember moving to LA when I was 18 and thinking, well, probably when I'm like 25, I'll have like a series regular on something, and which wasn't impossible, but it was also like, it's funny to think that I was pretty sure that would happen.
Yeah.
And then, I was able to do some cool stuff before then, but at the same time, I didn't have a consistent acting job. And yeah, you really kind of have to, I don't want to say necessarily adjust expectations, but you just got to get a more clear lay of the land.
You have to adapt to reality.
You have to adapt, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I always would tell myself when I was younger was, well, if I can make a living doing what I enjoy, i.e. acting, music, mainly acting, then I'm pretty good with that,
Yeah.
And I have to remind myself that that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I'm not working on set, my other jobs are teaching music and working at a audition taping service, and those are music and acting. So it's like,
Yeah.
what is there for me to be complaining about in terms of my career? Like, I'm really stoked about that. But adjusting to reality is a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Or adapting to reality, as you said.
Snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes gravity. Yeah. Well, cool. St. Bruce. Let's end the acting talk there. We'll take it over to the last 5. We got 5 questions from this magic bowl here.
Oh, I wonder what it was. I wasn't going to touch it because I was like, that probably is going to play out.
Yeah, and you're right. It did. So if you want to just pick one at a time, we'll kind of go through these questions.
Are they color coded, or it just doesn't matter?
They are different colors, but not for any reason.
Okay. All right, here we go. What kind of food would your music be? Whoa.
It's a good one.
Man. Oh, man. What kind of food? Yeah. Well, I mean, doesn't it? It feels like different songs are different courses, right?
Sure. It's whatever you think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would go. Well, I guess when I'm ever trying to, like, if I see somebody that's new and I've never heard my music, I'll try to play something that's like upbeat, bouncy, and moving. And that's not all my music, but that's how I try to like present myself, and complicated. And I like to be a little show offy. So maybe like, I don't know, like some, like deconstructed, like some gas streak, like liquid shrimp or something weird, something.
A fine dining experience.
Yeah, something you have to pay attention to, something you have to, there's deconstructed layers maybe.
Right, okay.
That's how that's how I try to present myself, at least at first. But then it can move into like, I want it to be like kind of a groove, so it kind of lands on something. So maybe like a nice tomato soup at some point.
Yeah.
Tomato soup with some basil.
Maybe deconstructed grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds good.
That does sound pretty good right now.
Yeah.
That's a great question, though. I love that one. My buddy Spencer wrote that.
That's funny.
Cool. Let's do question number 2.
Okay. Let's see.
2 blues in a row.
Yeah, what about that? What kind of color would my music be?
Yeah, we know now.
Okay. Who do people often say you sound like? Okay.
We had this conversation.
Yeah,
before.
we do. And I guess I can't like deny it anymore. I mean, somebody said I sound like early John Mayer / late Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? Like, okay.
Late Dave Matthews. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it just sounded good back to back like that.
Right. Phonetically, it works.
Yeah. And I get that. I 100% get that. I mean, so the guy that I learned most of my guitar technique from, he was a big fan of John Mayer. I mean, there's just his, slapping style. Mm-hmm. I didn't take it from John Mayer, but I took it from my friend who took it from John Mayer. So definitely John Mayer. You have to see that. And the Dave one is cool. I'm not a huge jam band guy, and that's like a part of his thing. But his hooks and stuff, and he does write really interesting guitar chords, and his hooks and stuff.
Totally.
I kind of I dig them. I mean, I do, and it's funny because that's like, he gets a lot of hate, but his hooks are good.
Yeah,
and
I don't really understand the hate. I'm not a jam band guy myself, so I don't find myself listening to him a lot. But I mean, the hits, dude, the hits, Crashing, Ants Marching, those songs are awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's also just the fact of being like a guy with an acoustic guitar. There's
white
something
guy,
that's just
guitar.
Yeah, and I think there's just something that's gonna resonate with that, because that's something we've seen before. But
right.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you feel like you take inspiration from who people would not necessarily?
Yes, I mean, the people who I really like, who I'll go see and I'll pay good money to see, are like Andy McKee, and he's not even a vocalist; he's just a guitar player. So, but his guitar work is so engrossing, and just, it's one of those ones. I saw him at Eddie's Attic, and I was just like, I would just sit there and just be like, oh, what are you doing? Like that kind of thing. And I like Jose Gonzalez a lot.
Okay.
I saw him live, and there's just something, he's just so concentrated in this one area. I mean, he's one that I really take a lot of inspiration from. And then there's this guy named Leif Vollebeck. He's my favorite.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
He's starting to get more famous.
Yeah,
he's starting to get big, and I don't know how I came across him, but he's got that live sound that I'm thinking about.
Okay.
He plays, a lot of brushes. There's
kind of softer.
His stuff really breathes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's really good, and I like him a lot. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my friends from Athens are all into him. I never really gave him a listen, but I'd heard that name a bunch over the last couple of years.
He's popping up. He played, I think he did something with Jacob Collier recently.
Oh, wow.
And he's doing a tour with, what are they called? The Stomp Rock. What are their names?
Stomp and Holler?
Yeah, which he's not. And so I wanted to see him. He's going to be in Spartanburg, and I wanted to see him, but it's like a $300 ticket because it's like part of this bigger thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh man, he's so close, but I don't
know.
That
that hurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do question number 3.
Question number 3. All right, switch it up. Do green. Fantasy supergroup. Whoa. Wow. Okay, so I've always said, I have it written in my bucket list, was like a jam session with Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh,
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard he's kind of a rough personality, but his stuff is like really incredible. So I mean, if he could play, yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, him as a side man or a front man would be really great. And then who else? I don't know. Yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham, really one of the best guitarists.
Yeah,
of all
really.
time. I think
I
we
don't know
talked
if you
about
need-
that one song.
Yeah.
I always want to say Secondhand News. That's not what it is. Never Going Back Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song is incredible.
Super cool.
That's like one of the hardest songs I ever tried to learn, and I've forgotten it completely.
Yeah. With him playing guitar with songwriting by like Tracy Chapman. Love her. You know?
Yeah.
That's a cool mashup right there. And
You're going
then-
like Simon and Garfunkel style.
Yeah. And then bring in something electronic like with a Johnny Greenwood.
Oh yeah.
Get one of the get a Johnny Greenwood. Get there's always like a front person and there's like some genius,
Yes.
some psycho genius on the side, like a Johnny Greenwood or like a Johnny Frusciante.
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
You know, get one
Yeah,
of those.
from Red Hot Chili
Get
Peppers.
those guys in a room and have the front being a Tracy Chapman, Lindsey Buckingham on guitar, Tracy Chapman on vocals and lyrics, and then we've
Whoa.
got two psycho like Johnny Frusciante
Yeah.
and Johnny Greenwood.
Whoa.
And I think your mind would explode.
That is one of the more creative supergroups I've heard. I like that.
Yeah.
Tracy Chapman up front is crazy, but I like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Awesome.
All right, let's do question number 4.
Okay. We're going to do a different color. Yellow. Okay. Least favorite song album from your favorite artist. Least favorite from my
Yeah.
favorite artist.
I usually like to be positive, but it's fun to throw something under the bus every once in a while.
Well, we didn't talk about this. I was a big Modest Mouse fan.
Oh, okay.
growing up,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know? They were like my favorite band for a long time.
Wow.
And I loved them. And I mean, I like all their stuff. But then I think right after We Were Dead Before the Ship Sank.
Which one was that?
That was, I mean, I'm kind of stuck in, they're the ones that like I'm stuck in my high school days with. Like
Sure.
I don't know that I could ever listen to them currently.
Mm-hmm.
Because
If you do, you're thinking about
I'm
your
just
high
thinking
school.
about their old stuff. And so, yeah, I kind of like they dropped off for me hard after
2007.
2000. I think their last album, yeah, 2009, 2008,
Right.
something like that was a big drop off for me, for them. So,
Yeah, so you were a fan of like Lonesome Crowded West and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
and Good News and
Yeah, Good News. That was the one
Yeah.
with the big hit.
Mhm.
Good News, yeah.
Mhm.
I always liked Dramamine. That's a good song.
Great song.
And then what is Lonesome Crowded West? That's the blue album cover, right? The really blue one.
That, or I think you're thinking of, and my favorite of theirs is.
Oh, that's like Falling Asleep at the Wheel or something.
Yeah.
That's not what it's called, but Lonesome Crowded West is one with the buildings.
I don't know the cover art like that.
Okay, I get so like
You get into that, yeah.
that's like how I think about
That's fine. I think of
remember
them in
albums.
terms of like playlists. Like I don't,
Right.
Because I always had them on. I think I had them on my iPad.
Oh,
iPod.
God's Teeth, God's Shoe Shine, or something like that.
Oh,
You know that song?
Yes. Yeah. Rays of. Yeah. I don't know.
Something like God's Shoe Shine, Teeth like God's Shoe Shine.
Lyrically, they were so cool. Just
Yeah,
You could
so
take
funny
any,
to think like
you know.
what they're doing now compared to what they were.
yeah.
They were so like kind of intense.
Although I saw them, I also work sometimes at Chastain, formerly known as Chastain, Synovus Bank, whatever.
Right.
And they came in with the Pixies, and I got to watch them, and they still, you know, there was like 35-year-old alt chicks still fucking
still
banging
rocking. Yeah.
to Dashboard. You know, come on. It was
Right,
still-
right.
It was good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude. Man, them and Pixies. Are you a Pixies fan?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I never got into their super deep album stuff. I don't know that they're. I mean, I like their hits for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. I love their 2 big albums. I would
Yeah.
listen to those all the time. I always go through a phase where I go back into Pixies. I'm like, this might be the best band of all time.
Yeah.
But then I remember it's really just those 2 albums that I love.
Yeah. I was really more of a playlist, especially you just like coming up. I had
Yeah.
like a CD collection when I had that for a minute, and I still have those those ones. But I mean, and I still am like an all-consuming playlist person.
Interesting.
I like to get. That's why I'll hear a song from a band. I'll know the band, but I don't know the song. Because I haven't.
Right.
I have to do a concerted effort to be like, oh, I'm going to sit down and listen to all these tracks. Some of the ones that aren't popular, and some of those end up being the favorites.
Right.
If I do that, it is
interesting to like get to like find out your favorite song is maybe not necessarily a big one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find a band that way, you just like randomly come across a song. You're like, I like this one. And then people are like, you know that song? You're like, yeah, but then you don't know the big hit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have such a wide variety of genres and artists that I like that I kind of try to, I don't know, I'm more spread out a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a deep dive every once in a while, but not as often.
Gotcha.
So
yeah. Let's do the last question here, man. Then we'll wrap up.
All right. Cool, man. Let's see. What's on your musical rotation?
Yeah.
You mean like what I'm listening to?
Yeah, what you listening to right now?
Right this moment.
Right at this moment.
What am I? Let me pull out my spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll just like find stuff. So I was just watching the new season of The Bear, and they always have great music. I'll always find something cool from there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. What am I watching? I don't recognize any of this stuff.
Whose Spotify is this?
Oh, this is cool. I listened to this album recently. There's another actor / musician that I've kind of like gotten into because I watched Shogun, that series.
Yeah.
And the lead in that is a guy named Cosmo Jarvis. And he's a...
Cosmo Jarvis.
Cosmo Jarvis. Cool name.
Cosmo Jarvis.
What?
No, what is it?
I thought it was Cosmo.
No, that is... Okay, I just...
COSMO. Yeah, Cosmo Jarvis.
That's a sick name.
Cosmo Jarvis.
Cosmo Jarvis.
Yeah. Dude's like kind of sick. He's interesting, and he was good in the show. So I was like, all right, I'll check this guy's music out. He's pretty good.
Whoa, what kind of stuff is it?
It's like it's alternate, but it's like he's got a real kind of aggressive actor. Like he's one of those. It seems like an intense actor, like one of those guys who would probably be intense to work across from.
Sure.
In between sets, in between takes and stuff. Just probably stay in it and be a little scary, probably. Okay. And so his music is
kind of feels like that.
His music is like kind of fun and light. But then he'll have like this aggressive angle at it, and he'll like kind of scream, and he'll blow out the mic sometimes. I'm like, all right, he's like,
whoa,
for it. So,
okay. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cosmo Jarvis. All right,
check him out.
I'll be checking him out. St. Bruce. That wraps us up on that note. Thanks for coming on the pod, man. I know we've been talking about it for a minute. September 17th. Right? That's the gig at Eddie's Attic.
For Papa Jack.
Yes.
Another staple of the community.
Sweet. Come on out. Come see us. It's going to be a great time.
Parker play some bass for me.
That's right. And everybody go listen to Leave Me As I Am, the EP out now. And thanks again, man. Always a blast.
Always a pleasure, man.
On that note, with Parker Whirling.